China's new defense minister Dong Jun is considered experienced and can promote efforts to restore military dialogue with the U.S. On December 29, the Chinese National Assembly appointed Mr. Dong Quan, 62 years old, as China's new Minister of National Defense, replacing Senior General Thuong Phuc, who was dismissed from his position 2 months ago. Before becoming head of China's Ministry of National Defense, Mr. Dong was an admiral in the country's navy. He is China's first defense minister to come from the navy, instead of an army general as before. Observers believe that the decision to appoint Mr. Dong was made in the context that President Xi Jinping wants to upgrade the military, especially the navy, as part of an effort to turn China into a leading power. In China, the Minister of Defense mainly plays the role of military diplomacy, because the most important decisions on defense strategy will be made by the Chinese Central Military Commission, led by Mr. Xi. However, the defense minister still plays the role of the representative face of the Chinese military, PLA, in relations with the media and other armed forces around the world. One of Mr. Dong's important tasks in 2024 is to cooperate with the U.S. military in efforts to de-escalate tensions over Taiwan and the East Sea, two long-standing hotspots in U.S.-China relations. This is considered a strength of the new Chinese defense minister, who clearly understands how the country's navy operates. Mr. Dong was born in 1961, graduated from Dalian Naval Academy and began serving in the Chinese Navy in 1979. He held many different positions, including the position of Director of the Military Training Department of China, Naval Command and Deputy Chief of Staff of the North Sea Fleet. In March 2021, he became Deputy Commander of the Chinese Navy, before being promoted to Commander in September that year, along with the rank of Admiral. As Naval Commander, Mr. Dong Quan participated in many military foreign affairs activities to discuss cooperation between China and other countries' maritime forces, including joint patrol activities with Russia. He also supervised joint exercises between Chinese forces and foreign navies. In early 2020, when holding the position of Deputy Commander of the Southern Theater Command, Mr. Dong was the General Commander of the Joint Naval Exercise Sea Guardians 2020, Sea Guardians 2020, between China and Pakistan. However, Drew Thompson, an expert at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy at the National University of Singapore, said that Mr. Dong's strength is as a supervisor, rather than a frontline officer. He knows how to run the military administrative system, and he's more of a politician than a soldier, Thompson said. Having been in charge of the Southern War Zone, overseeing the East Sea and Taiwan regions, Mr. Dong is likely to understand the tense issues between the U.S. and China. In June, a Chinese Navy ship accelerated and cut across the bow of the destroyer USS Chunghun as it passed through the Taiwan Strait, nearly causing a collision. In February, Chinese fighters and warships continuously sent warnings to U.S. P-8A reconnaissance aircraft, and the two sides' forces encountered each other in the East Sea. Mr. Dong is very familiar with managing recent encounters between the U.S. and Chinese militaries. This is very useful when he has to handle crises between the two sides. Li Mingjiang, researcher international at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies in Singapore, said. General Lai Thuong Phuc, Mr. Dong's predecessor, did not meet his American counterpart Lloyd Austin during his term. China's Ministry of National Defense explained that the U.S. needed to lift sanctions imposed on Mr. Li in 2018 related to the purchase of Russian aircraft and equipment. However, Mr. Dong will not face such limitations in dialogue with the U.S. side. When U.S. President Joe Biden and President Xi Jinping met in San Francisco last month, the two leaders agreed to resume high-level military dialogue, which was suspended after the House Speaker's visit to Taiwan. America was then Nancy Pelosi in August 2022. Chinese political scientist and observer Wen T-sung said that the decision to appoint Mr. Dong Quan, the top officer in the Navy and the East Sea, as Minister of National Defense, shows that Beijing considers this an important field. New priority areas in the U.S.-China relationship. Under Mr. Xi, the Chinese Navy has increased both its scale and combat capabilities to compete with U.S. power at sea, said Chun Han Wang and Wenxin Fan, two Wall Street Journal analysts. In that context, the decision to appoint Mr. Dong is an important move, creating favorable conditions for efforts to restore high-level defense dialogue between the world's two leading powers. Our video ends here. Remember to subscribe so we can meet again in the next video. Goodbye everyone.